Hello, welcome to the next episode. And on this episode, hopefully you're not going to be making a mess and it all goes well. I'm going to be using this deep pour water. I need to tint it sort of a green colour. I've never used this before, so I'm going to need to have a careful read of all the instructions, make sure it all works. I'm going to need quite a bit. I've just done a bit of a calculation. So this is roughly 500ml, and you've got 100 I think it's 113 there, and about 50 there. So it looks like about 400ml that I'm going to need. So let me have a read of this, and then we'll start to look, because should need all of this. But I'm going to mix it in 2 batches. I'm going to see how the first batch goes, see if I've got any leaks before I carry on pouring away, because the worst thing I want to do is to ruin the everything, you know. So and I'm going to be using sort of a moss green tint, and I think that should look how I want it. Hopefully I don't get it all wrong. So let me get all this out, and then we can start to have a really good look. So contents, we have some gloves, looks like, and a bag, obviously to put the old gloves and things like that in. So there's 2 pairs, 2 mixing cups and 2 stirring sticks, 1 deep pour clear water-based, and 1 activator, and a very good set of instructions. And sort of a guide to put onto the cups. So that's good. Okay, I've found out what the bag is actually for. You're supposed to put the 2 bottles in and into some hot, warm tap water, and these need to sit in there to just warm through for about 15 minutes, it says on the instructions. So really could have done with a deeper bowl, so I might just lay those down so there's a bit more even heat to go through them. So I'm going to come back in 15 minutes and those should be nicely warmed. Okay, that's been 15 minutes, and supposed to have warmed up a little bit. So let me just feel how warm these actually are, because it just says get them warm, not hot. Let me just put this away. I feel a little warm, not hot. So let me just check what the next stage is. So it says gently shake the bottles, or gently do not shake. So you just gently tilt the bottles back and forth for 5 seconds. So I think that one will be fine. doesn't feel that warm compared to the other one, so both been in the same. So let's start to pour. I think before I do that, take the top off, I'm going to definitely put these gloves on. Okay, let's pour this. Glad I did put the gloves on, because now it is all over that top. So I'm going to need to use all of this. Thought it would come out a lot quicker than that. Okay, this is going to take a few minutes to actually get out the bottle, so see you shortly. Hi, the problem was why it wasn't pouring, it wasn't actually hot enough. I think it had been sitting there and it got too cold, so I've let it warm up and it's now reasonably, it's just sort of warm, lukewarm. So it should all pour out a lot better now. So still not as liquid as I thought it would be, so maybe I have not got this perfect, so I'll have to wait and see. And just before I add that in, okay, I'm going to go for the next bottle. And it says stir for 10 minutes, but if you are mixing some colour in there, it says after 1 minute add the colour tint. So I'm going to do that and just roll my sleeves up so I don't get any of this. Now I'm going to just stir this for a good 10 minutes, well 1 minute to start with. So now I need to add the colour, and it says 8 drops per 30. So let me just work that out. So I'm going to need roughly 80 drops then. put 40 in, and I'm just going to see how that sort of goes. Now, do I need it darker than that? I think that's about the right colour that I'm after. Right, I'm just going to carry on stirring this then. And 10 minutes is going to take a long time, so we'll come back. Okay, this has had approximately 10 minutes stirring now. So I'm just going to quickly just check in the book. And it says make sure you've scraped all the sides, which I have been doing as well. And also the bottom. So I think this is all fully mixed. It's quite a dark green, so but I did take a couple of pictures of some of the sea last weekend, you know, in Llandudno in Wales, and this is why I chose this sort of colour, because it seemed to be very similar to this, more of the shallow part at the pier. So I'm just hoping that this sort of works. Right, it's now saying I need to start pouring it. So the only areas that I'm really concerned about is this section there. I'm hoping it don't leak, and I think everything is as secure as I can make it. So I'm just going to pour a bit initially. Hopefully we don't get any leaks. Can't see anything leaking out. So hopefully this is going okay. And it's self-leveling. Now it says cover that with some aluminium foil for about 4 hours. So, but I'm going to sort of just monitor this for a little bit, just make sure I've got no leaks anywhere. It all seems to be watertight. So what we will do is we'll come back in a few hours time and just see how this has got on. So there's a bit left in that cup, so I should have left a little bit more in so I could see when it had actually set. So, but I'm going to just leave this now, and hopefully we've got a nice harbour scene. Right, I've left this quite a few hours, and it seems to be nice and solid. There's a couple of bits that I'm not quite happy with. One big one is I've just put too much water tint in this, and it's not just gone translucent enough. It's quite a solid colour, and I didn't want it as green as that, so I have got some plans. I'm going to be putting another translucent colour over the top, and hopefully that now will work as the right colour that I'm looking for. I've also got some waves to put on here as well, so I've got a technique to try for that somebody was sort of telling me about. So I bought the product, and I'm going to have a go at that as well. So I'm not particularly happy with the water at the moment, so I'm going to mix a little bit more resin up, and I'm just going to put in a very thin layer over the top, a nice translucent layer with a bit of blue and a bit of the green to try and give it a more realistic look, and then I'm going to add the waves afterwards. So I'm just going to mix the resin up now and then get some more poured in. I've mixed this lighter colour up. I've used some turquoise, some moss green, and a drop of murky. So I used a couple of drops of turquoise, and 3 drops of moss green, and 2 drops of murky. And this should be a bit more transparent and should just give me that final layer. It should look like a deep sea harbour now. That's the plan. So I've just sort of checked this on a picture, and it seems to look about the right colour. So I'm hoping it works. I'm not sure any other way on how to fix this. So this has had roughly almost 10 minutes of stirring time now, so it's getting ready to pour. So, okay, let's see if this colour works. I think it's going to be right. I wasn't sure whether to put a bit more turquoise in, but if I do that it won't be opaque, so I'm just going to go, hopefully it gives a slightly lighter colour. Okay, that seems to have gone in okay, and I don't seem to have any leaks. It's not really changed the colour a lot, so I think I'm stuck with that sort of fairly dark green colour. I might put a very thin layer of clear over the top just to give it another, feel, but I can see difference in the colour there, so I think that will work. Okay, I'm going to cover that over with some foil and then leave that, and then come back and just see if it actually looks a little bit more like water, and then I'm going to start putting the waves on. Okay, I seem to have all the second layer hardened. That's all a thinner colour. I probably, if I was starting again, I would have done a slightly lighter colour at the start, but it's okay, I can live with this. It's a bit more like a murky green sort of harbour colour, so and sort of thing that I was after. So all I've got to do now is just trim all the plastic away without damaging anything. So I'm going to just see if I can get this trimmed. I wasn't sure whether to put another layer of resin just right on the top. I'm going to just see if I can just trim this away without doing too much damage. again it actually so we can then see. So I'm going to carry on with this, and then we'll come back and have a look and see how it all worked. Right, I have got all the plastic off the front. Still need to just do a bit of tidying up now on the black paint. That's not a major problem. So we've got a nice good level, but it's looking as flat as a mill pond, you know, so need to address that, and I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and this dries completely clear. I've not actually used this on the resin before or anything like that. I did a quick test sample on a couple of bits and it seemed to work, but I've not actually tried it on a resin surface like this. So that's the next thing to do. I'm going to brush this all on, so that's where I'm going to go now. So as you can see, I've just thought I'd protect the table. And basically it's just literally just paint this on from what I've seen people use. Doesn't have to be nice and smooth or anything like that. It dries fully clear. And I don't want to put a too thick a layer on. But just enough to get some waves. And I was right to put some cloth down because I've already got some the glue onto the paper, and I would have got that on the table. So now this will take 24 hours to fully dry. And I think it might be enough. And then the next trick is to use a straw. I haven't got a straw, so I'm actually just going to use a biro and just blow it in the directions that you want. And it's literally just go over the whole lot, just get the wave patterns and the ripples in the water, and then just leave it to dry. So I'm going to continue with this, and then we'll come back once it's dried. Hi, it's been 24 hours. The Mod Podge has all nicely dried. A couple of areas that still slightly need a little bit more curing, but hopefully you can see the effect that I was trying to get with sort of ripples all on the water. And obviously you can make more waves if you wanted to, but it's supposed to be a harbour, so it's quite a sort of a more tranquil sort of piece of water. As you can see, there's a little bit just here that's still not perfectly dried yet, but over time that'll go nice and clear. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a good evening or a good rest of the day, and take care.